It is accurate to say that they just don't know enough, and as much. There's no conceivable way that you can build the kind of institutional knowledge and memory that a guy like Dick Webster did from Jasper County, or from St. Louis, a guy like John Schneider, or Wayne Good. These people were absolute giants of the legislative process, often doing things that made me very angry. But they never made me angry because they were foolish or ill-informed. One of the great criticisms, having seen both systems, what we do now in the legislature a lot is we caucus. And by caucus, I mean the two parties will go, the Democrats will meet, the Republicans will meet. We do this twice a week, and what we do in these caucuses is throw our fellow caucus members partisan red meat and inflame each other's sectarian passions against the other party. And by the way, the leadership also tells us how we're supposed to vote on issues. In the bad old days, before we had term limits, we caucused twice a session because no one in their right mind would go to the caucus and listen to their political party tell them how to vote. I cannot imagine someone like Wayne Good or Dick Webster or Marvin Proffer or Tom Villa going into a caucus and having their party say, oh, by the way, you're supposed to vote this way. They would say, go to hell. I know what I'm supposed to do. I've been on this issue for many, many years. I understand this issue very well. I've spent my entire adult life studying it, and I'm going to decide how I'm going to vote based on that stored knowledge. And they did know. In those days, you would find legislators of both parties who would develop real specializations in various areas, and their colleagues would have tremendous respect for their knowledge about a given area. Bob and I had a colleague named George Hobensell from St. Louis County who really, really knew and understood, Republican, the structure of the law, the technical structure of the law. And when Hobensell got up on the floor, everybody stopped what they were doing and listened, because Hobensell would say, we are wrong about this. And it was almost never a philosophical question. It was almost always an operational question. We're not structuring the law correctly. And everybody would say, George is straight, George is knowledgeable, and George studies it, he cares. And we changed the law because George said so. And he'd say, now here, we're doing this wrong, we got to change it to this. And he did it over and over and over again every session. Hence, we made fewer big mistakes. I don't mean we made no mistakes. No human being or no legislative body is free from error. But our technical work was much better. Last session, we could not define styrofoam. And now you can't have coolers on the rivers in Missouri because we made a mistake in our definition. And every session, the number of mistakes and the seriousness of the mistakes, I think, has gotten bigger because the people involved are A, less informed about the work, and B, less interested in the technical aspect of the law. And I think that's a practical implication of term limits. People are more interested in what their parties tell them to do because they really don't know. And then they trust their party to tell them what they should do. And their party very often is consumed with, is this issue good for us politically? Rather than, does this make good public policy? Will this help us get more Democrats or more Republicans in the legislature? Or does this help some particular big donor or something like that? And the members of the party are much more likely to fall in line. I played, to a very tiny degree, this last session, the role that George did, Hobensell did years ago. And people would say, Chris, I agree with you. You're absolutely right about that. I went back and studied it, but I just couldn't vote with you because the party didn't want me to. It doesn't say Democrat on my check. It says Missouri on my check. And that's real important.